Hello, and welcome to Nemo's News. Last week, at some point, a story hit the news that Russian President Vladimir Putin was going to launch a nuclear space weapon. The US intelligence people reveal, and this enormous nuclear space weapon will be able to wreak havoc, destroying satellites and, taking out large parts of our intergalactic infrastructure that we rely on so frequently for all of our GPS needs and satellite tracking of parcels and everything that we rely on satellites for. The American intelligence people reveal. And you have to wonder, how do the United States intelligence people know so much about the inner workings of Vladimir Putin's government and his space plans? Russia, as we know, has always been, it's one of those sort of mysterious countries, I think. It's one of those shrouded in mystery, and, we sort of know kind of what goes on, but we don't really know what kind of goes on. We like to think we know what goes on, but we don't really know what goes on. It's shrouded in mystery, let's be fair. Um, with the USSR and everything, and then the Soviet Union, and now it's Russia and the Soviet Union. I don't even know what it's called anymore. But if we just say Russia, then everybody knows. But it's always been, you think back to the Cold War. Are they developing this weapon? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? Yeah, because they're just going to come along and tell you, aren't they? They're just gonna say, yes, we're working on sending a man to the moon. A cosmonaut is going to go to the moon, and then of course NASA, they know so much about what happens in Russia, so they say, well, we're going to send an astronaut to the moon. And as I found out just the other day, the difference between a cosmonaut and an astronaut is just where the word comes from. Uh, you know, Cosmo and Astro, I suppose. But anyways, by the by, I'm getting sidetracked. Um, so the Americans, they say, well, the Russians are developing this nuclear space weapon. Um, but there's no cause for concern. There's no cause for concern, and of course, saying things like the Russians are developing a nuclear space weapon, it's enough, let's be fair, to put the chills up anybody's spine. As soon as you combine the words nuclear and weapon, everybody, myself included, starts to get a little bit, you know, um, a little bit nervous, I must say. Um, but don't panic. Yeah, you've just spoken out about one of the world's superpowers and this potentially catastrophic, doomsday Armageddon weapon. But we're not to panic. It's all right. And it turns out, as with everything else, there's no real need to panic anyway, because it just doesn't matter, does it? If Putin does put a weapon in space, then it doesn't really matter because it's nuclear and it'll mess everything up anyway. Um, and I've been looking into it. I've even set up a Google alert for Putin's space weapon, and I've just this minute watched an interview, and he said he's not gonna do it. I mean, of course, being a world leader, he can't play his hand all the time. He's got to keep things secret. But I think with Vladimir Putin, if he was gonna do it, I think he would. And somebody said, "Are you gonna do it?" I think he would just say, "Yeah, we are. We're doing it. It's already happening. Get used to it." He doesn't need, I don't think, to play around. I know he's got the nuclear weapon in great quantities. I mean, there's enough just with the Russian nuclear weapon quantity. There's enough to destroy the planet Earth about 27 times over, or something really ridiculous. And if you factor in all the other nuclear weapons in the world, then there's enough. There's already enough ways to destroy the world without the time, trouble, and expense of a nuclear space weapon. Those words are combined to just cause a certain reaction. It's an emotional reaction that we're supposed to feel. And if you combine nuclear weapon, you're going to be, quite rightly, a little bit nervous about it, and quite emotional, because you're going to say, well, why aren't our people doing anything about this? Why are they letting him get away with it? And it's all just designed to make headlines, and it's clickbait, and designed to sell newspapers, make headlines. Because that's what happens. The media, you get these journalists that claim to know so much. They probably do get drip-fed information, but then a lot of it's disinformation or misinformation. So you do have to wonder where these leaks come from. Are they official leaks? I mean, if you've ever watched Yes, Prime Minister, a program from the 70s, which I think is just illustrates political life beautifully. It is just one of the best written comedies, factual comedies, I think, of all time. You should do yourself a favour and stream it or buy it or whatever it is. Yes, Prime Minister gives you a valuable insight into how it all works. But do I believe that the Russians are putting a nuclear space weapon into space? No, I don't think I do. Not for a second. Do I believe Putin when he says they're not doing it? Yes, I do believe him, because he's got no reason to lie. If he was going to do it, he would do it. And if people asked him, I think he would just say, yes, I'm doing it. That's what's happening. And I think that would be very much that. So I think we need to, once you see the media, and especially the British media, it is absolute scum. The British media is just vile. It is ghastly. It is abhorrent. It is just disgusting. The British media will rake any pile of filth they possibly can to sell a story and make filthy, dirty money. I can't say anything worse about the British media, because they are just vile, filthy scum. So if the British media, especially the red top tabloids, are telling you anything, take it with a pinch of salt and divide it by two, because they will say anything possible, and they will destroy anybody possible just to get ahead and make money at the expense of anybody. So my advice is, if you see these news things come up, check into it, look into it, check the source, get a variety of different opinions on it, different news feeds. I mean, I saw the original thing with President Biden. God help us. And I heard what he had to eventually say, and then I watched a couple of interviews with President Putin, and I found him to be more believable, because he's just if he's gonna do something, he's gonna do it, isn't he? Let's be fair. So that was Nemo's news, all about, such as it was, the Russian space weapon. Don't worry about it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen, no matter what we say. So, and especially if it's from the British media, take it with a pinch of salt and divide it by two. I'll catch you next time.